Thanks for joining us. I'm Kim Christensen.
And I'm Phil Lipoff. The Broncos are now 9-2 on the season, and this loss all but assures the Kansas City Chiefs will not win the division this year. And we haven't said that in years.
No, that's actually stunning. As you heard, though, the fans are loving it. They're there for every single second of it. 9 News reporter Rachel Krause is at Empower Field tonight. Hopefully they all went home by now. But you got to talk to them right as they were coming out after the game.
Yeah, thankfully they've cleared out, but a few hours earlier they came out of Empower Field screaming, cheering, singing, even just plain old thrilled to be able to pull out a win against the Chiefs.
Broncos for the Super Bowl!
Mile-high smiles and shouts echo around Empower Field.
Amazing! Amazing! How much fun was that?
Fans knew this one could be close.
You know, we knew it would be a great game, but dang, can we just win with a little more margin? Come on, let's do this, Bo.
Fourth quarter was a nail-biter. Were you guys worried?
Yes.
You think?
I was like, are they gonna win? Could they win?
Petrified.
We were worried.
There was concern, there was joy. It had all the emotions.
A field goal in the final few seconds locked in the win over the Chiefs,
I was just screaming. I was really excited.
sending the orange and blue through the roof.
I mean, that last field goal was crazy. I was screaming at the top of my lungs.
We ran it, we threw it, we kicked it. It was great.
Unbelievable!
Flying high on the W.
Now we're going to the Avalanche game.
Ready for more.
Absolutely! Let's do it! Double down!
There has been real optimism around Empower tonight as fans are hopeful that this could be the team that takes them all the way. Their dreams for this team as mile high as the city. Reporting live in Denver, Rachel Krause, 9 News.
There's confidence in the locker room, confidence outside the stadium too.
A lot of raspy voices tomorrow, I can tell you that. Thank you, Rachel. Right now it's snowing in the mountains. I-70 closed in both directions at Vail Pass tonight due to a semi that spun out. We've heard that happen before. 9 News weather impact meteorologist Corey Reppenhagen joins us now. So that's wet, that's snow. Is it coming our way?
It is coming our way. We even got a few sprinkles through the Denver metro area briefly. There was a snow squall that really caused problems up in the mountains. We also have a closure in Summit County right before the tunnels. This is the eastbound side. You can see that the traffic is moving through the Eisenhower side just fine, but there is a crash on the Summit County side, so there's no traffic coming through the Johnson Tunnel, which is the eastbound tunnel. The snow got pretty heavy there during that squall, but now you can see this live camera shot from Copper Mountain. It's just gone to a couple of flurries, and they could probably only get another inch or two as we go through the rest of the night. There's that bigger squall that went through the area. You can see that leading edge there, even brought a few sprinkles of rain to parts of the Front Range. Here you can see the storm system there, and once that wave goes by, this is going to fill in and just kind of gradually snow through the night. We have winter weather advisories on the western slope. We've got 4 to 10 inches by 5 o'clock tomorrow. Here in Denver, we're not going to get much other than winds, 15 to 30 mile per hour winds. That's going to elevate the fire danger, and we will be okay here until the next storm system, which is Thursday. That could be interesting. I'll talk about that in just a few minutes.
Doctors in Colorado studied what could increase risk for pedestrian crashes, particularly when it comes to children.
What they found is that neighborhoods that are more disadvantaged are often more dangerous for people, at least on foot. 9 News reporter Angeline McCall spoke with some of the folks behind the research from Children's Hospital Colorado. Angeline.
Right, and they say it's not only important to collect this data, to understand it, but then to put steps in place to prevent further accidents and tragedy from happening. Intersections across the city might seem like any other. Research found what makes them different.
And we found that there were differences in trauma mechanisms at different levels of neighborhood severity.
The doctors behind this study, Dr. Myers and Dr. Acker with Children's Hospital Colorado, say they identified what makes intersections more dangerous. They started by looking at what's called the Neighborhood Deprivation Index, a tool that measures how disadvantaged neighborhoods are on factors like income, education, or employment.
And so what we were able to find by focusing first on Denver County, just as a proof of concept of the methodology, that, there were specific intersections with high levels of deprivation at the neighborhood level and then high rates of injury, high rates of kids getting hit by cars.
There are two areas that stood out: Federal Boulevard and Exposition near Westwood and Federal Boulevard and Jewel near Harvey Park. Using both data from the DMV and their own hospital system, data showed that the more disadvantaged neighborhoods are, the more likely they are to have higher rates of crashes and more severe injuries.
And we found that these injuries occurred after school in those areas. We found that the injuries occurred on roads that had more lanes of traffic and higher speed limits, and also had more bus stops compared to areas that were not in hotspots of injury.
Off of Exposition, there's also a bus line, another factor. The data ultimately is just a glimpse into what's happening in neighborhoods across Denver. They hope it can be used to keep people safe at intersections like these ones.
And so you can use that information to say, okay, maybe in these neighborhoods where the incidence of auto pedestrian injuries is high, like we can advocate for crossing guards after school when school's letting out. We can advocate for slower speed limits, right, in these specific intersections.
This study was in part funded thanks to a grant that lasted for about 2 years. In Denver, Angela McCall, 9 News.
Angelina, this is one of those studies and data that is actually going to save lives. You're going to see it in real time.
I think that's certainly the hope from the doctors, right? And when we're talking about kids and accidents, I don't think there's anything that we can do to protect them more, right?
All right, Angeline, thank you. A man is hurt after an overnight chase that ended with a deputy opening fire. It started around 2:30 in the morning when the deputy tried to pull a car over in Berthoud, and then the car took off. The sheriff's office says the deputy was forced the car to stop on Highway 60 just east of I-25. That's when the driver, they say, sped toward the deputy, and he fired shots into the car. The sheriff's office says the deputy and the man were both taken to the hospital, but the deputy wasn't hurt. Sheriff's office wouldn't say whether the man was shot, only that he was treated at the hospital and then taken into custody. They did say there was a passenger inside that car who was not hurt.
New tonight, the FAA says it's lifting all restrictions that were imposed during the government shutdown. The FAA had rolled back the air traffic cuts at 40 major airports around the country, including DIA, to just 3% over the weekend. This means airlines can resume normal flight schedules first thing in the morning.